Right. So there are situations where you would want to pass data dynamically to your home page or to your HTML files. And with this, you would want to display something maybe from your database or maybe from the user interactions. And to do this, you need a way that you can pass data from your views to your HTML page dynamically. To achieve this, we introduce something which we call context. So this context, it takes whatever it is we want to send from our views down to our HTML page. Here, in this case, we create a context dictionary. Let's say name here. Call it, let's say Samuel Sundu in this case. Right. So when I go to my HTML page, but this is just a simple example, you could reference it here. Its name is name. You call this exact word used here that was passed in the context the key, and then Django template with the help of a templating engine Ginger that Django uses this to signify that I am trying to get the context that was passed from here with the key name. So I call the name here and I am able to have it returned. On this page, you can see a simple written word sentence. His name is Samuel Osondu. He is well disciplined. Now, this is a way to pass in your data directly from your views to your page. Let's add go here and say he wants to learn Django. So when we get to this, we can also say, let's have another list too. And say he loves programming, and we call that goal that we've defined as a key here. And with that, we refresh it and you see he loves programming and he'll read what he wants to learn Django. With that in mind, we can also, let's take note of something. If, for instance, we have goals here and then we refresh this, you'll notice that that part of my code does not show because there is no context passed from my views having the key goals. So you must have to make sure that what you're trying to achieve actually matches what it is you're doing. So having corrected it, you see that it appears just right. Right, so imagine we need to have a couple of pages in our website. We need to have home page, about page, and all of that. We need to have all of these pages for us to be able to have to do maybe other functionalities. You can imagine where we have a header and a footer all having to be the same, and then we need to make sure that we maintain a consistent look across all these pages, and we want to update the parts that are the same. We want to update one part and then it displays on all other parts. Then we also might want to separate concerns from structure and to make our site easier. To do this, Django templates comes with a way to have a base template or a base HTML in form of your template that you can actually inherit on other pages. Let's get right into it. Let's have more pages, say about, let's say bees, right? So we want to take a sample HTML code. So we move this to our base. We move this to our home. Then we have this on our about page. Right. So this base template, we're going to study it to look at what we're actually trying to do. Now, when you're trying to create a base template, it's your normal HTML file, but on each section that you want a content to be dynamically changed based on the page, you're going to introduce this signal and then a block keyword. Then you give it the name you would like to identify it with on the subsequent pages. In this case, we have block title. Then this title, my Django site, and then we end the block. In any other page that I wish to customize the title section of the page, I literally just need to call block title, and having called block title, I go ahead to impute the title of that page for my Django code. Now we also want to have a content section that will be dynamically updated based on the page. So I'll just create a block content and leave it empty, block end block. So let's go ahead to our home page to utilize this base.html to tell our code that all right, we're trying to extend this base.html. The way to achieve this is by using the keyword extend. With this extend, then we give it the location of our base template. Remember, this should be the location. So having given it the location of our base template, we want to customize the title from here. We name it home, and we want to add content. We'll customize the content and have this. So let's do that same thing for our about us. You add the extend, then you add the title, and of course the block content. Then we'll also notice that on the home page, we would like that on our navbar, we are able to access all the other pages by clicking a button or a word inside of these pages. Right, so it means that if this view is responsible for rendering the home, this tells us that we need to have additional views, which is going to be responsible for returning let's leave the context empty for now. For returning our about view, and we also need a page. Okay, that is just it for now. So we go to our URLs to have our about page included. So we have the comma, about. So with this on our base, we can now add this as a URL pointing to this. The name here is the exact matching name you used here. Let's get right to the code and check out our browser. This is our home. Now we can click on this, and while in our home we can click on this and we get to our about us page. Let's review this carefully. This is our home, about us page. Welcome to my Django course. This is my home page. This is my about us page. So let's customize this. You can see that the URL changes appropriately. However, our content, let's update it with the page based.html about us, right? Means this is, we're having a slight bug, right? So this is meant to call the about page view, right? So when we refresh this, you can see the home renders the home HTML page, about us renders the about us HTML page, right? So with this, we've seen how to work with Django template inheritance, how we can define a base inheritance. Because of our inheritance, you see how that this remains the same across board with this footer. Let's forge ahead. Right, so this is to fulfill the principle of GRY, do not repeat yourself. So we've seen how to create a base template such that you have your normal HTML file and customize the sections you would like to update later in a block where you use the keyword block and then the title or whatever you want to call that section, such that you can reference it later in your future pages. So this is what happens, and then the content is where you store, in between them you store what you intend to customize. So let's take a quick break and get back to it.